This is my '06 Dyna Wide Glide. I put a Harley Davidson all-in-one feel, tach, and speedo gauge with all the fancy colors and all that bling, and it worked great, worked awesome, until I wanted to remove the stock fuel gauge and put a dummy cap on it. Once I did that, the fuel was always on low, always reading low, and wasn't sure why it was doing that. So I did a Google search, and they said that you have to have the stock gauge installed for it to all work, and you'll see it light up here in what it looks like. So have it on. You can see here nothing's happening, it doesn't read anything, and fuel gauge is not installed, so you're gonna have to get yourself a stock fuel gauge and go from there. So you can see that the fuel level is reading now. I attached the stock gauge to it. You can see it reading here. What I've been told is there's a diode or something of that nature that makes it work. So this is why you kind of have to do this mod to it. So here is my stock fuel gauge. You got to take it apart. You'll see what happens here in just a second. When you should do that, you're going to put it wrapped up in a rag and maybe some electrical tape, or however you want to do it the best way. Make sure it's nice and secure, that it won't ground or anything like that. Here's what it looks like. You get a flathead screwdriver, start taking it apart from the back side. A little difficult to get to. You'll see some more video in just a second. Once that's off, you can see the black housing comes off really easily. On the back side of the gauge, you can also see you gotta remove the screws. Once you remove the screws, the white housing comes off, and you get this little gauge cluster. You also remove those two black screws and the needle, and then you will get this. This is exactly what you guys are looking for right here. So here's the gauge, all taken apart, all the different pieces in it. Faceplate, like I said, kind of difficult to pull off, but not too bad. All the screws, needle's pretty easy. Faceplate just held on by the two screws that you see there. All the housing, you can see how the faceplate's pretty beat up, but you're not going to need it, hence why I was definitely careful, but take your time. You can see the housing here, two screws on the back that you have to remove. Here is what you need, nothing else. It's just the wiring here, of course. Don't remove anything of that. You can see the diodes and the LEDs, not sure the resistors, not sure which one of these that makes it work, but that's what I've been told on some of the forums I've read, and you can see it here in just a second when I start putting it back together. This is my setup on my Dyna. What you have to do is remove your dummy cap. Very easy to pop off. Just twist off whatever your version is. And you can see the hole where the stock gauge goes and where the wiring goes down. What you're gonna have to do is solder or attach them whatever way that you feel best. And I'm gonna show you guys what that looks like in just a second. First, you're gonna feed the stock wiring down where you originally took it off from. For me, took it off a while ago, didn't realize that this was the problem, hence why we're doing this now. Shove it in there, nice and easy, feed it through. Once it's done there, kind of leave it hanging out just for a second. You'll see what the bottom looks like. Pretty simple, doing it one-handed here, not too bad. Back underneath the bike, see the wiring hanging out from both the stock wiring and from the gauge cluster. What you have to do is reattach them. I personally soldered my wires together. You can see the soldering job I did. Make sure you have the appropriate covers. This is it sticking out. You see the rag that I have that I'm going to cover it with. You can also see, once again, the diodes or whatever it is might be, the needles, the LEDs. I'm not too worried about those inside the housing. Make sure you cover it up appropriately. This is what the gauge cluster looks like when it's all wrapped up. Once again, put the rag around it, put electrical tape around it. Don't want it to scratch in the housing. Don't want it to get messed up at all. Don't want it to ground out. The wiring underneath the bike again, underneath the tank. Wrapped it up nice and tight. I'm gonna tuck it underneath here. Pretty much almost done. I'm gonna put everything back together, show you guys what it looks like here. So put everything back together, turning it back on. You can see now that it is reading the fuel level. This is what I needed the whole time. Didn't know this was a problem. You can see I put everything back together. Looking good. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.